Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Astro Oracle reading. But before we get going, I am so excited because I'm going to ask you for some help. I am launching a podcast, Inside the Wooniverse, coming to you live from the corner of Fringe and Maine. And guess what I need your help with? Who would you like me to have on as a guest? And I don't care who it is because there's a big wooniverse for us to be talking about. Remember, Fringe in Maine, anything goes. Please let me know who you'd like to see on my podcast and also subjects that you think would be cool for me to talk about. I could find a guest that matches the subject too. You might not know the person, but we might be able to match that. So please, you are my audience, and I'm doing this for you. And I hope you're going to sign up also to the wait list, and you'll be the first one to hear and see that podcast. Super cool. Now let's get going with the Astro Oracle reading. First, we're going to start with Aries. Aries, here we go. Aries is all about love. Mark, you better be nice to me. Birth and rebirth, you're always nice to me. Protection. Okay, this is great. So, oh, here he comes. Here he comes. You missed him, right? I know you did. Yeah.
Is this nice enough?
Yes.
Yeah, nice enough. This is about me.
Yes.
Tell me what I need to do.
Keep just doing that. That's
Just
good.
keep
That's
doing
good.
this.
Rebirth. Buy me flowers,
Oh,
and you will
boy.
be protected. If you,
I don't like the way this is going. This doesn't sound too...
you will be protected if you know. Actually, he does anyway, so it's so cute. Anyway, so for the Aries personality, you do get to start over. So, it's kind of interesting for the single Aries. This could be a rekindling of a relationship, or you get to start over in terms of how you see your relationship at all. And again, because love is there, it's also about restarting something, a project possibly that you were in love with that you didn't finish or you left behind. Now it's also it's a reboot for you. What's really great, the protection card is there. It means no matter what you start is good. It's got a blessing from the universe on it. So that's cool for Aries. All right, now we're going to be looking at Taurus. So here we go, Taurus. So Taurus, now these cards, by the way, are only read upright. Taurus, you have movement and fear and truth. So this is an interesting week for you because you might be afraid to take that next step. Remember the theme of the week, if you saw yesterday's video on the energy report for the week ahead, you know that abundance is the main theme. Basically what prevents us with abundance, et cetera, and how are we being truthful about that, whatever. So you have truth with fear. So you just might be a bit of a scaredy cat this week. And so overcoming your fear requires you to get honest about it instead of just making excuses about what you don't want to do, because your resistance could really be just because you're scared of either failure or success. So take that step anyway, is what these cards are saying for the Taurus personality this week. Now, let's take a look at Gemini. Gemini is the Goblin and the Serpent healing and burden. So this is all about what is yours and what is not yours to heal. So you might find that people are trying to project onto you this week, or maybe you find yourself projecting onto other people, when truthfully the healing that you have to do is strictly on you yourself, right? That, remember, we talked about what did we learn? If you saw yesterday's video, what did we learn? We talked about the serenity prayer. We know this, right? So in your case, it could be what is mine to heal? What is mine to shift? And remember that also not to take on other people's burdens, even if they are blaming you for something, when you know that a lot of times when people do that, they're projecting their own unhealed wounds onto the other person. So just be really clear and truthful with yourself about your part in whatever's coming up for you this week. And you will be fabulous. And we all have those little goblins, right? Sometimes it's just about our sense of self-worth that gets triggered. Here we go. This is for the Cancer personality, the water fairy, and the spider and risk. Ooh, this is very cool. So for Cancers, this is a creative week for you, and it is time for you to take that risk and to jump into a creative project that might feel a bit daunting for you, but you can do it. And this is the week that says, okay, no matter how overwhelmed that I think I can get, if I take little small bites and pieces, then I will create the bigger the bigger concept. This is great for writing, for painting, for singing, for any type of creative thing. Think something that you birth from scratch. And also, even partnerships with other people can be considered a creative project where you work with somebody else and you take the risk and allow somebody else to give you their ideas too and share, right? So this is a week of sharing as well too for Cancers. That is awesome. Considering I am painting up a storm these days. That's awesome. Okay. Leo. Lady of the Lake, integrity, also burden, and the frog, cleaning house. So this is shedding a dependency for the Leo personality this week. Don't carry other people's stuff with you. This is all about that decluttering of your head, because you might want to be generous and you want people to like you, or you really want to see where have you compromised yourself. And it could be in the past. You might be faced with a person who's coming up to you saying, oh, but this is the way it's always been. But you're going, yeah, I know, but I don't want it to be that way anymore. So it's really a cleaning house in your relationships and also around respecting yourself, right? This is interesting. So if in fact, because this is about emotional baggage, the frog card here, releasing emotional baggage, this could also be about for the Leo personality, about, when generosity, for example, becomes like the shadow of that is the idea of trying to manipulate somebody to like you or somehow to protect yourself to stay safe in some way. There's all kinds of ways in which it's unhealthy. So, but I'm not worried because it says, seriously, you've got the Lady of the Lakes, the first card in, going, you know what, we've got that sword. We're asking ourselves, why am I doing this? And is this really in alignment with who I'm becoming? And likely the answer will be no. And if so, in that area, you just say, you know what, I'm out of here. But to know your part in it is key. Okay, so that's going to also open up to some really great new opportunities to come in. Whenever we clear out our emotional burdens, we have more space. We have more of ourselves available to us and more options to play with in this fun Earth school. Let's take a look at Virgo. Love for Virgo, focus, and the owl. All right, so with these cards, for Virgo is looking at what you love, being very focused on it, and being very truthful with yourself about the fact that if you have committed to something, it is indeed something that you feel good about. And if not, it's like needing to bless it, to find the beauty and good in whatever it is, that task that's in front of you or relationship or whatever, because that has to be your focus, right? That love is the focus and the lens through which you're being invited to look through this week. And then you will find your wisdom with that, which is the owl. Okay, now let's take a look at the Libra personality, transformation, messages from spirit, and lots of friendships, the Queen. All right, so here we have for Libras, you're super psychic this week, so that's the other thing. You're feeling very intuitive, and you have to trust that. This is a week of transformation, and you're going to start to see signs and symbols and get phone calls and communications with people and with the universe at large, which becomes our oracle. I teach that in oracle school. The idea that we are not alone, and you're going to get evidence to see how far you've come and the different changes. And you're going to see it impact your relationships, because the Queen represents friendships, community, also your own sense of feminine sovereignty, which isn't relative only to women. So it's not the gender specific, it is the divine feminine. Where are you sovereign in your ability to nurture, protect, your courage to express yourself, and how heart-centered are you? So anybody can see that as applying it to themselves, no matter what you identify with, what gender you identify with. There's that. Okay. Now, let's take a look at Scorpio. Here we go. Scorpio, birth and rebirth. And it's interesting because the phoenix, both the scorpion and the phoenix are both, and the eagle, are symbols that relate to the Scorpio personality. So this is really about rising up from the ashes of what has come before. focus being on also, so rebirth, birth and rebirth focus, and seeing through the deception of yourself and others, and also finding your wisdom in seeing things from a new lens, right? So perhaps this has come because you've had an epiphany of sorts, or you realize, oh, wait a second, I've been in denial. I thought that person, did this, but they really didn't. That was me. I made it up. Like that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of revelations that could come with this particular spread reading for Scorpios. Now, let's look at Sagittarius. Here we go, Sag. Sag has the hawk. Sag has death, which is about transformation. And Sag also has the owl. I mean, come on. That owl has been making its way around readings today and yesterday. So we start with messages from Spirit for Sagittarius. And the message is about what we need to let go of, because the death card comes with that. Now, can be that you hear news that somebody's crossed over, but, remember, is that true for 1 in 12 people of the population? Not necessarily. This is really about letting go that which doesn't serve, and also letting go the superfluous things in your life that are crowding you. And it's about being honest about that. That's the other piece, right? So it's about getting out of denial and being honest about what you have to let go of. And that's a great week to do that. Great week for inventory for the Sagittarius personality. Now let's look at Capricorn. I love doing this. Capricorn is also the swan, the stag, and the cow. Great. You have a great week, Capricorn. You are entering into the week, trusting your intuitive gifts, recognizing how far you've come, and being proud of it, right? That's the other thing, because the leadership card, the stag, comes from the swan. It comes right after the swan. So it's like, yeah, I can really feel good about myself. Instead of looking at yourself as broken, needing to fix, you can say, you know what? I have really transformed. I've come so far. I'm no longer resentful of so-and-so. I'm now, taking part in this thing where I was too afraid before, and now I'm really focused on this. And so it's like seeing how far you've come, also Capricorn, and being really proud of that. Also, leading through humility is really important, because you have a lot of abundance and access to abundance. The cow represents giving, nourishing yourself and others, self-care, but also to recognize that you have lots to give to others as well. This is giving and receiving, the law of giving and receiving. So this is also about getting back what you've put out and actually seeing that evidence this week. Now let's take a look at Aquarius. Okay, so we have Aquarius and Pisces. Aquarius has loyalty, the dog, the serpent, and the Grail Knight. So this is a really interesting week for Aquarius, because this is about how you romance, or you kind of put people on pedestals, and this is a week for you to heal the area in which you feel loyal, right? So if you have a sense of loyalty to a person, to a situation, etc., but it hasn't been working out for you, this is a great week to do the actual healing and to trust that something better is going to take its place. That's what the Grail Knight is all about. It's about seeking the sacred, but it's about finding it within us too, right? So for Aquarius, it's about being loyal to yourself, not allowing other people's opinions or lack of behaviors or whatever to define you in any way. That's also interesting. So it's bringing it back to being loyal to yourself and to your higher power. Okay, now let's take a look at Pisces. So Pisces, we have also the hawk, restriction, and what about? And about denial. Okay, so we have the hawk, we have restriction, we have the owl. The owl has showed up everywhere. It's amazing. So the hawk is, again, messages, right? So you're going to get evidence that are kind of coincidental, that are like, maybe it's a phone call, maybe it's an email, maybe it's information that you get about being restricted that is serving your highest good. So don't be in denial about it. In other words, don't deny it or resist it. It's like, oh, there's a temporary hold on some things in my life, which is actually for my highest good. So I might not get what I want this week, but that's actually good. It enables us to take a look at our attachments and to get out of denial about how attached we were to something and how it was supposed to look. Anyway, so that's it for the week. Don't forget, I've asked you for some help. My podcast is coming up, Inside the Wooniverse. It's going to come to you live from the corner of Fringe in Maine, and I'd love to know what kind of guest you would like me to have so that we could go get them and invite them on to have a conversation that you want to listen to. Any subjects that you think would be cool for me to talk about, and any people. So anything goes, seriously. Like, don't just look for specific new age authors, like celebrities. I don't care. Let's find out who'll talk to me. It's going to be fun. Okay, so.
And questions.
Oh, and questions. If you have questions that you'd like to hear answered on Inside the Wooniverse, just remember, we're coming to you live from the corner of Fringe in Maine. So anybody that you know that's a little bit over there, that's, we don't want to get mainstream. We want to get somebody with a little bit, like a little bit of an edge. We want to talk about that, them, whatever. And the questions, anything goes. We're going to sort through them and create a fantastic podcast just for you. Don't forget to sign up and be the first one to hear it, okay? Mwah! See you next time.
Hey YouTubers, how you doing? This is Mark, Colette's husband from the Woo Crew, and I know that you should be smashing that button if you want to subscribe. Smash, smash, smash. Let's get the subscription going.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you.